we did have a game last night. Browns hung on to win 19-10 in their final preseason game. Undefeated. Last time we went undefeated in the preseason, I believe we went 0-16, so let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Hey, we're just chasing down the Ravens in their record that they've won 20 straight. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
So, some starters actually played last night, including Baker Mayfield. So I think this was an important game. I know I wanted to see some starters for a little bit. Some people were on the fence saying they didn't want to see him, didn't want to risk anybody getting hurt. I was surprised to see Kareem Hunt, even though it was only for a drive, but he ran the ball well in the one drive he was in. I do think it was super important that some of the starters went out there and played, though, because the first drive, even though we moved the ball, it was not as crisp as I wanted to see. Baker had 2 balls batted down. I think he was 2 of 4 on the drive, and then we ended up not getting any points. And Coach Stefanski came out and said that once we got in the red zone, it was intentionally vanilla, the play calling, because you're not trying to give anything away. But the second drive was way cleaner. So I'm happy that they went out and played a couple drives to shake that rust off. I didn't want to have that rusty drive against the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't like, and I think we were kind of in agreement. We have our text group chat now with the Patreon members. So if you're not part of that, it's a good time, during games, being able to talk to everybody on that. And there was kind of displeasure through everybody about the batted balls that were kind of happening, because we were like, oh, here we go. It was one. I think they were almost back to back.
They were within a couple plays of each other.
Yeah, and we're like, man, because he literally threw it right at the only guy that was in front of him. So that was, and then they actually did that to a couple of the Case Keenum throws later on in the game. So it's one of those things that either Atlanta was working on it or we weren't thinking that they were going to get their hands on the football. But first drive, we went right down the field. I think it was Hooper had the huge play.
Yeah, the guys ran into each other.
Yeah, that was awesome to see him, back in Atlanta, making a big play.
He looked athletic on that too. He looked quick going down the sideline.
Yeah, so it was definitely exciting to see some of the starters out there, but I'm kind of glad that it wasn't a long stay where they were out there, into the second quarter or something, because we just saw J.K. Dobbins go down, and then in your mind, you're kind of thinking, please don't happen to us.
Yeah. No, it was exactly what I wanted. I wanted to just see a drive or two just to shake the rust off, look crisp, and then get out. And that's it. That's exactly what we did. Baker went in, 2 drives, second drive was perfect, 4-4, beautiful touchdown pass to Hodge. That's a play that if Aaron Rodgers makes that throw, they don't stop talking. It's on ESPN nonstop. They don't stop talking about it, but it's Baker, so nobody talks about it. Drew Brees was impressed, though. I don't know if you guys heard on the broadcast.
Drew Brees was impressed, yeah, and I was impressed. For all the flack we've gotten recently, I feel like, on social media about Baker Mayfield and everything, that throw right there just shows what he's capable of doing. He's a step back, just kind of floating one out there, perfectly accurate, right where it needed to be for the receiver.
Yeah, off-balance guy in his face. And that's pure arm strength, too, because he couldn't step into that throw. I'm so sick of hearing about this, how he has a mediocre arm. Baker's got a cannon.
Baker has the second longest throw ever clocked by PFF since 2006 at 70 yards in the air.
Yeah.
Last year, that Hail Mary.
The dude can – I don't understand where this came from.
I don't know either.
That he doesn't have a strong arm.
Right, yeah. So in that one, I liked how on the broadcast, they kind of referred to it as like a fadeaway jumper.
Right.
That he was falling out of bounds and just threw it up. It was perfect, right on the money. It was either Hodge was catching it or he wasn't. And it was almost kind of a similar throw and play call that they tried on the 4th down when they were going for it. He threw it to Hodge. I think it was Hodge again. Going to the left pylon to try to get that touchdown on the first drive and just wasn't able to connect with him there. And this is Baker making that throw. That's not his game, really. It hasn't been his game. In college, he didn't play action, roll out to the left and bootleg. None of that happened. And I think it's just a credit to what Stefanski's been able to get him comfortable with doing, because now we could argue it's the best part of his game.
Yeah, I was surprised that in the pregame broadcast they were talking about how in college he never did that.
Yeah.
He wasn't a play-action boot passer. He was a 5-wide gunslinger, from the pocket. And then he comes to the NFL and he becomes the best rollout passer in the league, essentially.
Yeah, so, okay, another question. So it was the first time we've seen Baker in action. Do you think he looked a little slimmed down this year compared? I thought he looked a little better.
I thought he was slimmed down last year. It was 2 years ago with Freddie where it looked like it almost looked like you were out there playing quarterback. Like he was definitely not in game shape the year Freddie was here.
When last night it looked like almost college Baker to me of seeing him on the field, where he just looked like that athletic guy that could extend a play and wasn't going to get ran down by a nose guard.
Well, and the thing is that looked like college Baker too wasn't a physical thing. It was just his confidence that you saw come out of him, because that's what we've been hearing out of camp this whole time is, well, Baker's got command of the offense. He's got control. He's in control. Well, we haven't seen it except for when we went up to training camp and stuff. And I mean, it's practice, so it's really hard to really gauge what exactly is going on. But in that game last night, it was like, okay, he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's confident. He just looks locked in.
Yeah, What was he, 6 of 10?
6 of 10 for over like $113. Had a touchdown. We didn't run the ball very much, but we really haven't ran the ball a ton in preseason. I feel like
I think the Browns are going to throw the ball more than people think.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
you might be right about that.
Using Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to their full extent of their abilities is going to add to that. Obviously, I don't think we're saying that we don't want to get Nick Chubb the ball, because obviously we do, but. I mean, passing game-wise, we got a lot of weapons. We saw Schwartz got that pass interference. Like, even though that doesn't show up in the stat book of Schwartz had a 40-yard catch, I mean, it was a 40-yard play because of the penalty.
And I know he had at least one catch.
Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't see what stat line. I kind of wanted to see him play a little bit more than, or at least be targeted, be used a little bit more. I want to know what we got in the guy. I just don't want to know that he's just a burner and we're going to throw it over the top every time. I want to see him get his hands on the ball and make something happen, too.
I think we're going to have wrinkles for him that we just aren't showing in the preseason. I think he's going to get an end around, that kind of thing, a jet.
Yeah, and he hasn't been healthy either.
True.
All
That's
preseason.
True.
So, but the thing that I love is we've seen Felton. And we know Felton is a beast.
He's a dog.
Yep. Yeah.
That dude can play football.
Oh, my gosh.
He's looking now. We thought JOK was the steal of the draft. I think a big reason why Felton might not be in that conversation is just because, is he going to get the opportunity? As good as he's been in the preseason, he's still not going to play over Jarvis or Odell or Chubb or Higgins or Hunt. So he's going to have limited opportunity. But next year after, we could be talking about that guy is like, I can't believe we got that guy so late.
Well, him and DPJ could be out there 6-round picks being stud receivers for us.
Yeah, so we're getting to that point of the season's literally right around the corner. Mm-hmm. And are we a little bit worried that Higgins has been hurt all preseason long?
Here's the thing, is if he doesn't get healthy, DPJ is going to play, and DPJ is probably going to show out.
And maybe Higgins doesn't get his spot back.
And Higgins will be phased out, and it'll just because he can't stay. I've said it on here, and people say the best ability is dependability. You have to be healthy. You have to be dependable. We have to be able to depend on you to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about him. I mean,
is he severely injured, or is it we're just not going to push it in the preseason injured?
And if he's playing, his chemistry with Baker is good enough that he just always gets open. I think he'll be fine.
A couple things I saw last night. Baker looked really good, and I know Hodge played in DPJ and stuff like that. Still no Odell and still no Jarvis. So we've yet to see Baker with his two main guys.
Yep.
Yeah. And DPJ and Hodge are good. There's a huge jump between them and Odell and Jarvis.
Two guys that have been doing it for a while now in the NFL at a high level.
Yeah. So we've yet to see him with his two guys. I'm very excited for that. Noah Njoku.
Well, he was out there.
He was there. He was out the first series, and that was about it.
He just didn't.
Yeah, he didn't get any targets.
I mean, Toxin Camper, he might have a bigger season than we thought, 3 months ago.
Yeah, I think that he's probably the fact that he's buying into Cleveland. He came out and he fired his agent to stay in Cleveland because his agent was probably like, "Hey man, you're nuts. You can go start for somebody else." Here you're kind of second fiddle with. They got Austin Hooper. They can't pay you what they're paying him, type of a thing. But he's athletic, and he's always been the guy that was he was a talk of being a steal in the draft. We got him. So it's just about.
Can you steal somebody in the first round?
I mean, I think about it, that position, yes. I mean, I think that he was brought in to be a Kyle Pitts type tight end. Now, Kyle Pitts last night made one catch and broadcast was in love with him, and then I don't think he played the rest, but which is weird. He doesn't look like a tight end at all.
No, he very much looks like a big receiver.
Two different types of tight ends. Like Njoku's a big physical looking tight end compared to a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson was a bigger wide receiver than what Kyle Pitts is a tight end.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I took away last night, Dearness Johnson is very good. Would probably be a 2 rotational player that gets a decent amount of touches every week if he wasn't on the Browns.
If we cut Dearness Johnson right now, Atlanta, I would have to pick him up.
Yeah, because they have no run game.
No.
Right? I mean, a team like Atlanta at least would have to.
You know what happened is they'll go to Baltimore.
All out. Yeah.
I heard some rumblings that Todd Gurley is on the radar.
Good,
there.
go ahead.
Well, then I saw after that, though, that they said not right now.
Not right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards is going to be fine in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry, but J.K., I was a little sad that, because I like J.K.
No,
Dobbins.
I'm a J.K. Dobbins fan, but
It couldn't have happened to a better team.
yeah, nicer fan base.
Guys suck.
But no, I do feel bad for We're all J.K. Dobbins fans, I think. So
Absolutely.
It sucks that he got hurt, but then again, you wouldn't feel bad for us.
This is very true.
So, where was I?
I mean, I'll help you out here.
Yeah,
if
go
we're
ahead.
going to talk about guys that might get cut with like Dearness Johnson, what about Hodge? Because all he does is ball out all preseason for us.
So we're not
and
going
he
to
might get cut.
We're not
don't
going to
wanna see him.
speculate too much right now because there's a chance that by the time this episode comes out, it's already done.
Yeah, because
the roster cuts already.
I've been seeing like cuts being made by teams like sporadically throughout the day, so it's like
Yeah,
For
they're
those of
not
you
like just waiting till the last minute to
Right.
throw them out there.
Right.
Like the big names might be, because the deadline is obviously
It's 4 p.m. tomorrow.
4 p.m. on Tuesday. So
It's now 6 p.m. on Monday for those of you guys listening. So we're 24 hours behind the trade deadline.
Yeah, so obviously I don't want to see Hodge go. I hope that next time when we're talking about who was cut, that his name is not on the list, and we found a way to keep him around, because he is not a player that I think you're going to be able to cut and then just stash on the practice squad.
Absolutely not.
Not for what he's done and the kind of player he is. It's not like this is his first year doing it and we're just other teams have noticed it.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's certain players that, like, when you cut, obviously you can keep them around. Like Sheldrick Redwine was a notable name that was just cut, and it's saying that they're most likely signing him to the practice squad. That's big. I think, players like that you can do that with. There's others that it's just not possible.
So 92.3 The Fan put out a list. We're not going to speculate too much. They have us keeping 6 receivers. So we'll see if this is what's true, tomorrow / today, if this episode comes out tomorrow. They got us keeping Odell, Jarvis, DPJ, Higgins, Schwartz, and KhaDarel Hodge. That's the 6 they got us keeping. And then they're considering Demetric Felton a running back. So they got us keeping Chubb Hunt, Felton, and Dearness Johnson. So that's the way I kind of see it going. And then JoJo Natson, didn't you say we cut him?
Yes, JoJo Natson.
JoJo Natson's already gone. He wasn't going to make this team. He's too much of a one-trick pony for this team. We have 3 other guys who can return the ball that also do other things that are threats on offense.
Yeah, so Redwine is gone. JoJo Natson, you just talked about. Curtis Weaver, who we did kind of an episode on, he got cut to Gray Scales. Marvin
Why he's cut, bro?
Marvin Wilson, a defensive tackle. Tight end Jordan Franks.
Franks got cut.
Yeah, Jordan Franks got cut. And then Kyle, can't remember how to say his last name. Yeah.
Oh, Luletta.
Yes. He's gone. So now we're down to 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Probably a guy like that, or you're going to go find somebody similar that's going to get signed to
If
the
Luletta
practice
doesn't
squad.
get signed anywhere, he'll just be on the practice squad.
Yeah, be a third guy. So
But
that's where we're at right now.
I thought Newsom played well again last night on defense. LeCount, I think LeCount's going to make this team.
Yeah, with Redwine being cut, it looks that way.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think we're going to cut some players that we've seen, but I think, I think Hodge is going to make it. I saw a report yesterday that said he's going to get cut, but I think he's going to make it.
So, notable name on Twitter, reporter, NFL-wise, said the Browns are waiving defensive end Porter Gustin.
No.
Yeah.
So,
That just got that. It was 8 minutes ago that it was put on Twitter.
why would we be waiving him?
So Weaver and Gustin.
Wow. There's either another position group we're wanting to keep, or they know somebody maybe's already been cut somewhere else that they're interested in. But Porter Gustin's been a guy we've liked.
He was good in this preseason.
Yeah.
He was the third. He's first off the bench if Clowney or Miles gets hurt. In a position that I didn't think we were very deep at.
Yeah. Another name at the defensive end position was Cameron Malvo. He played a lot yesterday. I think he was one of the leaders in tackles on their defensive line yesterday.
Had 2 sacks.
Yeah. So he's gone. And it's saying, there's some fans on Twitter that are saying that if they're not going to be happy if we got rid of Porter Gustin and kept McDowell, that they would rather had Gustin on the team than McDowell.
So I would say cutting those 2 DNs and Weaver and Gustin kind of leads me to think that they're planning to use Malik Jackson a little more like rotational edge, and they're going to keep more guys for that interior out of that group.
Jackson was starting.
At D tackle.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
that,
but
I'm
moving
saying,
him around.
I'm saying like if
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to me in the fact. Okay, so Tack McKinley, we've kind of talked about him throughout the preseason. He's been on the team, then he's been away. Now he's back, and what he's going to give you. And we talked about how Clowney was going to move around. He came out and said about guards aren't athletic. In the press this week that guards aren't. I'm going to line up and be able to go right by him, stuff like that. So how much can you move him away from one side of the ball when now you don't have, your depth that you had at that position?
I kind of like what Josh said, where if Clowney or Miles gets hurt, they'll bump Jackson out, and we're going to keep a couple extra guys and just sub in the middle. So our backup D end or OLB, however you want to call it, will be Jackson.
Yeah, because I don't know if Malik Jackson is going to be like a full-time defensive tackle just because he is older in his career. So he might be more of like for second down. Then they got these other guys that kind of fill in or maybe take a series off, That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but that's surprising with Gustin.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
I would have thought he'd have stuck around. So Browns fans, be ready. There's going to be names that are going to be cut, that you've been used to seeing the last 2-3 seasons that just
it's the price we pay for being good.
Yeah. Well, we've got so much talent right now. It's weird.
I don't envy Andrew Berry and Stefanski because they're going to have to call people in that are good football players who've put in a lot of work and tell them that they're not going to make the team.
Bro, they put a red ticket in the locker. Come on.
I don't think that's the way it goes.
That's how it goes.
Porter Gustin kind of remind you of Carl Nassib in a way, like his play style, and then obviously we parted ways with him, and then he ended up going. I'm sure Porter Gustin's going to end up somewhere. He's going to be somewhere, and he's going to be a rotational piece that matters on somebody's defense.
Very crazy.
That was shocking. We didn't plan on talking about that.
No,
things are. I think it's going to be like that until 4 p.m. tomorrow, where it's just names are going to start dropping.